Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
We love the energy, we love the enthusiasm. We also love our guest co-host today, comedian Elvira Kurt, who's back with us today. Loves. Great to have you here as always.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
And we want to welcome, I think a lot of people are probably maybe at home today watching, so welcome to The Social. Welcome to The Social. Well, if you've been watching the news, you probably know what we're going to start with today because tributes are pouring in for Pope Francis, who died early this Easter Monday. Now, he had set out to be what was to be called the People's Pope and reform the church to be more progressive and welcoming. Now, he was the first to take a non-judgmental approach to LGBTQ+ issues. He also delivered a long-awaited apology for the Catholic Church's role in residential schools. That's when he came here in 2022, right here to Canada, to issue that apology in person. The question we're going to start the show with, though, is how does the Catholic Church evolve after Pope Francis's death? And the question is, can it evolve? What do you think, Elvira?
Wow. Well, I certainly think that it should. You know, it's sad, obviously, that he passed. And the fact that he's known as the People's Pope, it really sticks with me. It's like, shouldn't they all be the People's Pope?
Oh.
Like, what is sort of the point? I didn't know that was an aspiration. That really should be the goal. Like, what's the point of being the Pope if you're not for the people,
Pope,
right?
Great point.
And yes, if what he was doing was moving the Catholic Church in the direction of more empathy and leading with love, let's keep that going. Right?
Does anyone worry about sort of the global trend we're seeing where things seem to be taking a turn to more sort of conservative sides in terms of world leaders?
Yeah.
And so I wonder then it kind of makes me fearful that the Catholic Church will follow suit with that. Like they will go back to a more quote unquote traditional time and maybe undo some of the things that Francis was doing or that he had hoped to do.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, you know what? Today I actually want to just think about like the impact. When a person passes away, the thing that you remember the most is how they made people feel.
Yeah.
And one thing about this Pope, I think it's clear for everybody, is he made everybody really excited. Do you guys remember? I remember watching the news, and it was around the very beginning when he was announced as the Pope, and there was this footage of people at the Vatican, and it was just a sea of excited Christians there to greet this man. I think this is it. And it was the first time for me as a person who'd gone to church for my entire life that I'd seen religion celebrated. Like he was a rock star almost. I've only seen that kind of behavior for people who are on stage performing. And so in my mind, what I remember and the impact that he had on me, and I think a lot of people, is first of all, he was just different than any other religious leader I'd ever seen before. Just the things that he talked about. He talked about war, he talked about migration, he talked about climate change. He also was trying to bridge the gap between different faiths like Islam and Judaism, because he knew that we are more alike than different. These are the things I'm going to remember. And in the intro, you did mention the fact that the Catholic Church even acknowledged the bad things that they did, and he made sure to apologize face to face with those people. Those are the things that I'm going to remember. And I'm just thinking about the 1.39 billion Christians around the world who are asking that question. It's like he did all of these wonderful things and we'll remember him for those things, but where are we going
Well, he
now?
did stack the conclave with like-minded people.
Yes.
Almost like stacking the Supreme Court. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he did do that. So it could be very hopeful. We could have
I think so. You know, it's really tough to be a leader, especially at this time, because there is leading by example, which I think, you know, you just outlined, Andrea. He did lead by example. And then there is a leader who also listens, and I think he was really good at doing both. But he also was not trying to operate like a certain person who is now the president south of the border. He was not the type of leader to say, well, this is what I believe, and therefore this is how the entire church must go. He really was trying to build community so that the church would come along with him and he would gently guide them. And when I think about where's the church going, and I say this as, you know, someone who was raised in the Catholic faith, I actually have had a very hard time with the Catholic Church, especially since, and in light of all the atrocities that we've been learning about the residential schools and the fact that 60% of the residential schools in this country were run by the Catholic/Christian faiths, and that there could be so much more that could have been done. And that's the part for me that I've been having a hard time reconciling as a human. I pulled my daughter out of Catholic school for many reasons. And one of them was Catholic Church Pope Francis, you're not doing enough. And I don't know what it's going to take, but I cannot support a church that doesn't do more. And then I found out about this document, and it is called the Synod of Synodality. It's the worst word in history. It is a 51-page document that Pope Francis wanted to leave behind as his legacy. And it is a 51-page document that says, where will the church go next? Yeah. And he did this over 3 years with hundreds of delegates, young people from around the world, and said, what do we need to do next? And guess what was the push in this?
Where? What?
Women's role in the church.
Great.
And LGBTQ unions being recognized. Now, it didn't get where he wanted it to go, but he said, this should be a blueprint for where the church goes next.
Do you know what I really hope is also on that document, or that what I hope the next pope is interested in? It's spending money. Because the Vatican, their assets are worth like in the billions. Some people estimate 10 to 15 billion. And in terms of land that they own, 177 million acres. If they were to spend a fraction of that on doing what the church preaches to do, which is to help people, the change would be transformative. What a great direction that might be for the Catholic Church.
Right.
It'd be good, and maybe return some of the artifacts that Indigenous communities in this country are asking for. Just to start. Just to start. Just to start. So we'll be watching. I think it's going to be very solemn over the next several days. We know there's a lot of 1,000-year-old tradition that's going to unfold. We'll be watching, and perhaps we'll talk about it again here.
Hopefully. You know, maybe the last thing in the synod was watch the movie Conclave. And
Great movie to watch.
It was a great movie. It was great, but then but it ends, spoiler alert, with a very progressive pope. And let's hope for that.
But the timing of that movie is perfect.
Perfect.
If you haven't seen it, you really should watch it.
It's a documentary.
If you don't understand what's going on.
Watching tonight.
A woman posted it on Mumsnet saying her sister-in-law invited her and her husband to her vacation home for free. And that they asked that they just do, you know, some dusting, some cleaning, and a bit of light gardening. This woman is convinced they're being asked to set up the place for when the sister-in-law arrives after they leave. So what would we do here? What do we think? Do we like this?
I kind of like it. I'm, gonna stake my claim. I get a free house.
Yeah.
And all I have to do is snoop around and rearrange things the way I want them done.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you wouldn't mind the chores, say?
I kind of like having something to do. I like organizing things. It's a distraction from the fact that I can't put my own life in order, can't do my taxes, but I can rearrange your spice cabinet to within an inch of its life.
You do understand that this is not free. This is a service that you are providing.
But
The
you're
maid service and organizing of someone's home.
It's a waterfront property.
Exactly.
And she's wealthy.
She's not got a standard she's holding me to. I just wipe things off and then I move things around the way I want. I might take something. No.
I am appalled by this woman.
Really?
I am appalled by this woman. The backstory that we read is that she's super wealthy, perhaps the most wealthy out of the family. She's had this sprawling vacation home. She's never invited anyone in the family over before.
Okay.
She likes her alone time.
Maybe she likes her alone time. And so she finally capitulates and says, fine, you know what, if you want to stay, but you have to work while you're there. I'd be like, girl, take your home and shove it. That's what I would say.
Gosh.
Wow. Well, it sounds like you would fit into this family very well.
But you know
I'm
what?
happier in a tent in the backyard.
I'm going to second that. I'm not as angry, but I'm going to second that. And I'm going to say someone needs to tap this woman on the shoulder and say, you need a reminder that when you invite people to your home is to make them feel welcome, not to scold them with, this is what you're going to do when you get here. Personally, this is a trigger because I don't like being told what to do. Like, I pay my taxes and I abide by the rules of the road, but that's it. Don't tell me what to do, how to be at your house. And this reminds me of something that my ex-boyfriend's mother would say to me just before I'd go on dates with him. She's like, do you have your Vex money? And I go, what do you mean? She's like, always have some money because when you go somewhere, depending on how someone treats you or what they say to you, you always want to have a little money so you can go, you know what? Your attitude, I need to do chores. I'm just going to stay at the hotel down the street because I didn't come here for this. I'm on vacation. I came to relax.
It comes down to, because that's very smart woman, very smart advice. I think it comes down to what is the dynamic between guest and host. You know, so Ryan's family, they have a place down south. If anytime we invite people over, we are there to say, you have a good time.
Right.
We don't want you to lift a finger. You're here to relax. We're going to do everything for you, okay? Flip that. You know, lovely Lindsay DeLuce, who co-hosts Your Morning, we co-hosted Secret 24 Breakfast. We know each other a really long time, and she was so lovely to invite Ryan and I to her family's former cottage, and it was this beautiful compound, and Ryan and I were like, this is so lovely. And when we were there, we were cleaning, we were helping set the table, we were helping fill the dishwasher, because we thought that's how you be a good guest. That's how you be a good guest.
Yeah,
A decent human being.
Anyway.
And they were like, okay, you guys didn't have to do that, but thank you, because they said, and her family is so lovely, Mom and Dad were like, you know, there's a lot of people who are actually terrible guests, and you know what, they probably wouldn't be invited back.
So why are we upset at this woman then? Essentially, she's doing exactly what is expected of guests. She's just asking for it.
I know,
so
but
is it the asking that's upsetting you two over here?
Before I even get there, assuming that I wouldn't clean up after myself. I trust if you're inviting me to your home that you know who I am and you know that I'm not a slob and that I'm going to be respectful of your home.
Specific things like I need help with the garden. Can you do this? I personally feel like I would be a very good friend to wealthy people. If there are wealthy people watching,
they're going to treat you.
Wait,
they're going to.
If you let me stay at your
They're going to
mansion,
treat you like the help.
I'm okay with that.
You know what? Maybe that's it. My ancestors are like, we're not doing that.
Exactly.
You don't bring me to your house and tell me what chores to do? Sorry, ma'am.
Speaking, that could be a big deal.
I'm staying in my
Whereas
house.
for me, I'm like, I love a list. I love being told
So
what to
where's
do.
the relaxing when you, because this is a vacation, where's the relaxing if you feel like I'm in this person's house, but I can't leave that and I can't do this, and I got to pick up my towel.
Oh,
Where's
it was
the
just
relaxing?
No, it was, she didn't, it wasn't like from 8 till 5, you're doing chores.
Okay, so what if you do a crappy job? She tells you you did a crappy job, and you're never invited back.
Well, you still got a week vacation for free.
Right, and
Nah, you paid for it.
guys,
But you paid for it.
But this is tulip bulbs.
I think the problem is the family dynamics, and I think you'd fit, both of you, with your attitudes are very on the extreme. There's a lack of generosity of spirit in this family
And it
to
starts with
begin
her.
with.
Yeah, and I also, you know what? I'll go as far as I think
that.
it's also a cultural thing. I think there are certain cultures that it's blasphemous for you to go to their house and touch anything. It's like when you're a guest, it's like, don't fill the dishwasher, don't do that. I am the host. Sit down and relax. I'm here to make sure you're good.
But
and I
she's
think
not
that's
there.
why.
She's not there at the house.
She's
I know,
not
but
at the
trust
house.
us. We're gonna make sure your house is fine. I think it's the lack of trust that you have to leave me a list like I'm your teenage son. It's like, don't do that. Know that I'm an adult. I'm gonna be there. And if you don't trust me, then don't invite me to your home.
Okay. How about that? Okay. Well, is anybody here familiar with something called the Pride and Prejudice hand flex? Anybody? Oh, we got one.
We have one excited woman.
Very excited. Well, according to the New York Times, this gesture between Keira Knightley and Matthew McFadyen, it was in the 2005 film, and it's been giving people butterflies for 20 years. Look for it, and hand flex. I know. You blinked and you missed it.
Oh my God.
The hand flex. It was the hand hold, and he walks away and then goes.
They do it in slow motion.
Does this, Jess, do anything for you?
Oh, it does a great deal for me.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I just feel like this story, Pride and Prejudice, there's a reason it's been adapted so many times, and that 2005 adaptation was wonderful. That's Matthew McFadyen. Who played Tom
In Succession.
What range as an actor?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, that guy? Anyway, he's so romantic. I really enjoyed that a lot. Can I borrow your fan? Thanks.
You got yourself all hot loving. Okay, I don't mean to be, listen, this is lovely for the movies, but I'm also thinking, I kind of don't like this because these rom-coms have had a lot of these single women who we've had a girls' night and they're talking about, like, there's this guy, oh my gosh, and we're all at the edge of our seat for this story, and she's like, oh my God, I saw him, and then when I walked away, he did this. And I just know we're gonna get married, and we're like, girl, he's just being friendly. That's all that
I
is.
respect you.
Let's not make more of it than it is.
But just
not a proposal.
Just politely, it's not a rom-com.
Right.
I know.
It's a very progressive story.
Okay, sorry, no, they're very sensitive, but I'm just saying these little gestures, I just feel like we make too much of it. It's like he did this with his hand, and this is something that we're hanging our hat on.
But it was Keira Knightley. That would have made me have butterflies too. I would have been my whole body. I would not have been able to handle it. It would have been a little bit too much.
Are there gestures that if
Yes,
you're out on a date that
there
people do?
are.
Simon, if he puts his hand on the small of my back and sort of pushes me or
He's
something.
gonna get some?
I just feel like such a tiny lady. Oh, who needs his help? And I feel it's so chivalrous. Is that the word?
Is that
Yeah.
doing it?
Guy
Doing it for you?
gallant. I think
Oh,
he's
you want me to, like this?
because
Like
in
he's
real
been
life,
gallant.
yeah, in real life, we don't have that kind of relationship, and so when it happens, I'm just a puddle.
It is the subtlety of
Jess
it.
had-
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a culture that there's no room for subtlety anymore, it seems.
I guess,
Perhaps.
I don't know. I have this, for me, it's when a female tennis player picks up a racket and then does the individual finger wraparound around the handle, just like that.
Whoa!
You know I play tennis, don't you, Elvira?
Wow.
Well, that's why I bring it up.
Interesting.
No, I literally melt. What it says to me is, I have intention, I have confidence, I have purpose, I'm gonna slay. Whatever comes next is going to be a slay at the
I
end
also
of
need
the
to
day.
hold the racket.
Wow.
I also need to hold the racket.
Do it for me.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
Invite me to your summer home and make me clean your house.
Oh, God.
I will do it.
Elvira, we love you. We know you're always so busy, and you've got a brand new show coming
do.
up. Can you tell us more about it?
Oh, I can. I'm at the Comedy Bar here in Toronto. If anyone feels like some live stand-up comedy, May 7th, Comedy Bar. Love to see you all there.
May
Lovely.
7th,
Fantastic.
Comedy Bar. Okay,
Yes.
all right. Now you know. Now you know where to find the amazing Elvira.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.